Hi YouTube, my name is Heather and I love anti-MLM content here on YouTube. I'm hoping to use this channel as an excuse to sit on the floor and talk about the unethical practices of multi-level marketing companies. Today I wanted to talk about another very well-known MLM coach named Matt Morris. We're going to watch a quick video on his YouTube channel where he tells us how to 10x our income in network marketing. I'd love to hear opinions below, so you can leave a comment or a like.
Hey everyone, Matt Morris. Welcome to the Unemployed Millionaire Show. And today we're talking about how to increase your income by a factor of 10 in network marketing. Now, this kind of really boils down to the formula for success. Now, the formula for success in life is your financial vehicle multiplied by your effort, multiplied by your skill, your level of skill. And so why I love network marketing, I believe it's the ultimate financial vehicle. I mean, there's just no other profession in the world that I know of that allows you to make the kind of money that you can make, have the type of time freedom that we have, and help, the amount.
We know in the last video when we talked about pyramid schemes that it is impossible to make significant income in an MLM if you are the last one in. It's a mathematical and statistical improbability. He also said he doesn't know any other industry where you have the time freedom that MLM gives you. That's also easily debunked with a quick YouTube search. If you follow anti-MLM content, you know that the Beachbody or MLM distributors in general will tell you that you can work part-time and make full-time income, that it's easy to make lots of money from home and still be a full-time mom and spend all your time with your kids or your loved ones. And then once you're in, they tell you if you want to be successful, you have to work constantly. And you'll hear stories about the top level Beachbody coaches working something crazy like 12 hours a day for the first 2 years and barely making any money. So that is an easily debunkable statement.
Amount of people that we're able to help. And so realize if you're in the network marketing profession, you've got an amazing financial vehicle. So the only other two variables are your effort and your skill. So obviously you've got to work hard, but you probably know a lot of people who work really hard, but they never get where they really want to get in life. And so one of the major multipliers, the only one out of only 3 multipliers in the formula for success is your skill. Now, you watching these videos, every time I put a video out, I'm increasing your level of skill. And so, my hope is that you're watching every one, you're internalizing it. In some cases, you're watching the videos over and over, and obviously sharing these with your team, with your organization, because when they see this information.
He's telling us that we have to watch all his videos and internalize everything in order to have enough skill to succeed in our MLM business. Beachbody likes to say a lot that new coaches have analysis paralysis and they just collect all the information before they feel like they can be a coach. There's huge contradictions in the MLM industry in general. That's a big one. He's telling us to be successful, we need to watch all the training, and then Beachbody coaches tell us to just jump in. Even if we feel like we don't know what we're doing, we will learn as we go. So there's always contradictions with coaches and also, with Beachbody coaches and also with coaches like him who are coaching the coaches.
And they internalize it, they get better, and they grow bigger organizations. But here's one of the biggest factors for you on how to increase your skill, aside from watching these videos, reading books, and all that, it's attending events. And I'll tell you, no matter what company that you're in, if you're in any kind of, typically good network marketing company, they do events, some type of live events. And I'll just tell you, the secret to becoming a top leader, a top professional in your company is attending all the major events. Every major event that your company puts out, you need to be there. And
in the context of Beachbody, the events that you will be pressured to go to, we've already talked a little bit about this. You'll have the yearly summit. You'll be pressured to qualify for the new leadership conference, for the leadership conference, which is 5-star and above elite coaches. Then there's Super Saturdays all the time, which are weekend corporate events where they're in different cities across the United States, and you go and you hear a corporate presentation and you work out. We know that if you are the last one in Beachbody, you are very unlikely to make any money and you're probably going to lose money. So this is a whole other expense that could put coaches into significant debt.
You have to look at it like this. In order to be a doctor, does a doctor have to go to medical school? Obviously. You know, if I was going to tell you, hey, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm really committed to being a doctor, and I'm going to work really hard at being a doctor, but I'm not going to go to medical school, what would you think of me? You'd think I was crazy, stupid, or both. And that would be the reality. I'd be crazy or stupid if I told you I'm going to be a doctor and not go to medical school. You have to go to medical school. If I told you I'm going to be a lawyer and not go to law school, I'm going to skip law school and just be a lawyer. Obviously, you got to go to law school. And so if you want to be a 6-7-figure earner in network marketing, you have to go to 7-figure school. And 7-figure school is the events, your company's major event.
What do you think about his comparison between MLM conventions and law school? I kind of see what he's saying, that law school is a significant investment in your future, but people do it to meet their goals. And he's saying you need to go to these events to meet your MLM goals. However, if you go to law school, medical school, that obviously carries weight in the outside world. If you go to a good law school and you get good grades, you're very likely to get a good job and make good money. It's almost a guarantee. I feel like if you have those kinds of qualifications, you're very likely to make a good yearly salary. Here, there's no guarantee. You can go to the Beachbody Yearly Summit and do exactly what your coaches say for preparing for the summit and the pictures and posts you put up on your Instagram. And there's no guarantee that any of that is going to translate into economic and financial success.
Now, if your company doesn't do major events, you need to be going to other events. Now, there's other events that leaders put on. You know, Art Jonak puts on his mastermind event. Eric Worre does an event every year. I mean, find events and go there physically. There's nothing that replaces being alive in
this is pre-COVID, of course,
an event and getting that information. And so the reality is this, is you are going to make more money if you go to the event. In fact, with my company that I'm involved in, we've statistically proven the people who attend our events, they make 5 to actually 10 times more money if they go to our events than they don't. So you don't have to go to every event. You don't have to go to major events, but that just means you're going to make 10 times less. So do you want to make 10 times more money, or do you want to make 10 times less?
It's interesting that MLM distributors and coaches like this will say very obvious statements like, do you want to make 10 times more, 10 times less money? Obviously, everyone would want to make more money. He's saying you need to go to these events to make more money. The purpose of these events really is to bring in millions and millions of dollars for the MLM company, because the coaches have to pay a ticket price. So in the case of Beachbody, it's at least $200. And then the coaches are strongly encouraged to buy tons and tons of product while they're there. It just lets the company make more money, and people are encouraged to go because it's a way of encouraging them and keeping them in the business. If they're feeling worn down or burnt out, you go to a huge stadium full of 25,000 other Beachbody coaches. You have lights and music and inspirational speakers, and it makes you feel like you can also be up on the stage with those people. In Beachbody, the elite top 10 coaches are always recognized on the stage, and they wear beautiful dresses, and they get to, like, most of them have speeches, and you hear from all the top leaders. And the general thing they like to say is that, look at my success, look where I got in this business. All this shows is that you can do it too, which we know from the last video with the Robert L. Fitzpatrick book. If you're the last one in an MLM company, you are not going to make money. At least 80% of the company has to be at the bottom of the pyramid, making no money, for those people walking across the stage to be successful.
Less money, and I would guess you want to make 10 times more. So you obviously have to be at the event. Now, a lot of people will say, you know what, I don't have the time. I've got to take some time off work and I can't do that. Well, how long are you going to make decisions in your life based on a lack of time? See, if you keep making the same decisions based on a lack of time, you're never going to have any time. A lot of times it's a money reason. I don't have the money to go to the event, either the price of the ticket or the airfare or the hotel, whatever it is. And again, if you don't have the money to go to the event, that's why you must go to the event. You see, I remember when I was about 25, 26 years old, I went to a Tony Robbins event and he had Master University and it was $10,000. Now, at the time, I didn't have $10,000 lying around. I had to put it on a credit card and I didn't have the money. And what the conversation I was having in my mind was like, oh, I can't go, I can't go, I can't go, I can't go, because I didn't have the money. And then I just came to the realization. I said, you know what, if I don't come up with the money, I'm never going to have the money. And so this is what I want for you, is I want you to be more powerful than whatever your limiting belief is. Your limiting belief about not having enough time or not having enough money, be more powerful.
So there's a lot to unpack there. The limiting belief of not having time and not having money. The first, with time, he said, oh, I have to take time off work. I don't have time to get to Beachbody Summit. That's not a limiting belief. If you say you're a single parent and you are a one income household and you can't afford to take 4 days off work to go to this summit and also to pay someone to take care of your child, I don't see how that's a limiting belief. That's not an excuse. That's a reason, because remember, you're not getting paid for your 3 to 4 days where you're at this event. You don't just have to pay $200 for the event. You also have airfare, gas, hotel. Beachbody does not feed you. Also, when you go to Summit, there's multiple reasons why someone may not have the time or the money. I've said this in a past video, but when I used to go to conferences for work, I would not have to pay anything. They would cover everything, and I would even get a certain amount of money per day just for spending money on top of food, and I would get that money back even if I didn't spend it. I would have to pay the amount out of pocket, and then right when I would get home, I would submit all my receipts, and then I'd get all the money back within the same day. Here, that's not the case. So not having money is not a limiting belief. It's a reality, because all over YouTube, there's descriptions of how much people spent to get to Beachbody Summit, and it could be like as low as like $400 if you're nearby, upwards to $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 just for a few days at a conference. So that's not a limiting belief. It's not an excuse. It's a reason why someone can't go.
Than that excuse, because you can have excuses or you can make a lot of money, but you can't have both. So
also, please do not put yourself into more debt to go to a $10,000 Tony Robbins conference. He said putting $10,000 on your credit card, he made it seem like it's no big deal. It is a big deal when you're a young person and you don't actually have that money lying around. $10,000 is a lot for most people. So do not put yourself into even greater debt. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of MLM distributors lose more money, is because they're pressured to go to, in the case of Beachbody Summit, and all the super Sundays or super weekends or whatever they're called all over the United States. So I love how he just said that statement so nonchalantly. $10,000 is a lot, and do not put that on a credit card.
So you can't expect also your team to go, because in order to have a very fast-moving organization, I mean, here's the key, is get them in and get them to an event. So you've got to get their mind right. And I've lived by a philosophy in network marketing. It's allowed me to build organizations of hundreds of thousands of people, make millions of dollars, and it's this. It's if I build people here, they'll build the business. And so you have to build people here, and the best way to build people here is getting them to the events. And so if you're not there, your team's not going to go. And I'll tell you this, momentum is created through belief. You're going to hear me say that in a lot of my videos in the future, but momentum is created through belief. Well, how do you really get people to believe? Well, it's one thing hearing you on the phone. It's one thing hearing you in person, but if you're doing an event with hundreds or even thousands of people, the level of belief is just unmistakable. What happens is it's not so important when someone in your organization, it's not when they get in their company, it's when your company gets in them. It's when network marketing gets in them right here. And the way that it gets in you right here is getting to the events. And so,
in my opinion, he just said that MLM conventions are an indoctrination tool. So you're not fully you're not fully invested in your business until you get to events and you hear the very rare success stories of the few people at the top. You're surrounded by other people who have similar goals as you. They also prey on your emotions through like fancy light shows and music to help you feel more connected to your company and the mission and the dream of financial freedom, which is not likely to happen. So I think in Beachbody, the case of Beachbody, they do use it as an indoctrination tool to say you're not fully invested in your business unless you spend potentially $1,000 to get yourself to this event, even though you're already losing money. And I know you're losing money, but we're going to use this event as a way to keep you in the company for as long as possible so we can keep making more money off of your sales, and we can keep making more team cycle bonus and matching bonus off of everything your downline does.
So friends, don't miss another major event. I don't care what the excuse is, time, money, make sure you're there. Now, this is something that I think is imperative. Share this with your organization. Make sure they are seeing this and make sure they understand the importance of attending events. So I appreciate you tuning in. Love to hear from you below. Feel free and comment. If you feel like this would add some value, make sure you share it around.
That's all. We don't need to hear the rest. In my opinion, these huge MLM conventions are used as an indoctrination tool to bring extremely financially vulnerable people into this pyramid scheme that is set up for them to fail. They'll be pressured to fork over even more money, putting themselves into even greater debt just to chase the dream of financial freedom and success in a system that is purposely set up for at least the bottom 80% to fail, where the top remaining percentage of people can make millions of dollars a year based on the financial losses of all of those below them in the pyramid. If you've ever been to an MLM convention, I would love to hear your opinion down below. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.